In this example video, I'm going to show you how to convert the measure of your angle from one unit to another. And the units that we're going to use are either degrees or radians. So oftentimes in trigonometry, you're going to need to convert the measure of your angle from one unit to another. And the application that you're using is going to determine whether you want your angle in degrees or whether you want your angle in radians. Usually after taking trigonometry, students move on to calculus. And in calculus, you want all of your angles in radians. But sometimes we actually measure them in degrees. So you just need to be able to convert back and forth between the two. So the way to do that is to use a conversion formula. Okay, the same kind of technique that you would use if you were converting from inches to feet, or feet to miles, or miles to kilometers, or kilometers to centimeters, or whatnot. So we have conversion formulas that we can use here as well. So the main thing that you need to know, so off to the side, that pi radians is the same as 180 degrees, okay? This is the main thing. Pi radians is the same as 180 degrees. So what you're going to use is either the ratio of pi radians over 180 degrees, or the other way around, 180 degrees divided by pi radians. Since these are the same thing, right? This is equal to 1 and this is equal to 1, because when you divide something by itself, you get 1. So oftentimes in unit conversion, you use ratios like this to help you. And that's what we're going to do here. So if you're working with an angle that measures 60 degrees, but you really need that to be measured in radians, then what you're going to do is multiply this by one of these ratios so that the degrees will cancel and you're left with radians. So I'm going to choose this ratio, pi radians over 180 degrees. So what happens is your degrees cancel and you're left with radians. So this is 60 times pi divided by 180 radians. And you want to simplify this as much as you can, so this is just pi over 3 radians. So you can see 60 degrees is the same as pi over 3 radians. And you just do the same thing here. It doesn't matter if your angle is positive, negative, really large, really small. The unit conversion still works the same way. So again, I want to convert from degrees to radians, so I want to choose the ratio where degrees will cancel. So I'll use the same one as before. Pi radians over 180 degrees. So degrees cancel and I'm left with radians. So I have negative 45 pi over 180 radians. And then simplify this fraction as much as you can. So you can see that negative 45 degrees is the same as negative pi over 4 radians. And make sure you write your units. So if I want to convert in the other direction, if I'm starting with an angle measured in radians and I want to convert it to degrees, so what I need to do is multiply by the correct ratio up here so that radians will cancel. So I'm going to use this one. So 180 degrees divided by pi radians. And you can see that radians cancel and I'm left with degrees. So I have 180 pi divided by 6 pi degrees. The pi's cancel, 6 divides in evenly. This is 30 degrees. So again, for degrees, you can either write out the word or you can use the symbol. But for radians, you must write out radians. Okay. And then one last one, -5 radians. I want to do the same unit conversion. So -5 radians, I will multiply by 180 degrees divided by pi radians. That way, radians will cancel. I'm left with -5 times 180 divided by pi degrees. And I'll just simplify this a little bit. And for an exact answer, this would be just fine. So I just really want to point out that pi is the irrational number. Pi, 3.1415, etc. Pi is not used to indicate radians. The word radians is used to indicate radians. So this is going to be some decimal, but it's still a measure in degrees because we did the unit conversion. So it's okay for your angle measured in degrees to have pi in it, and it's okay for your angle measured in radians to not have pi in it. Remember, pi is just that irrational number, and we just use a symbol to indicate it.